everyone, and welcome to yet another episode of the ScreenShot, the show where we have raw and unfiltered conversations about issues that we face as young people of Zimbabwe. So one issue that comes up a lot on this show is an issue of substance abuse, but we've never actually covered it. So today we thought, let's talk addiction, substance abuse, drugs, alcohol, and pornography. So joining me today to talk about this issue are two amazing young people that I'm going to let introduce themselves. So.
Hello, my name is Thandi. I am an emotional healing advocate as well as a youth mentor.
Hello, my name is Leroy and I am a civil engineer and a writer.
Okay, so welcome guys. Welcome
Thank
to
you.
the show, welcome to ScreenShot.
Hello.
So first and foremost, we want to talk about drugs and alcohol. So we're going to start off by talking about alcohol. So personally, I've encountered alcohol in my personal life where it has affected me and the people around me. So yeah, I have a bit of insight on that. So I want us to start off by talking about the causes of substance abuse. What causes substance abuse in young people of Zimbabwe? We'll start with you, Thandi.
In Zimbabwe particularly, I'd say it's mostly the economy. It's hard with the place that we live in. When you're struggling with no work, maybe you're not even going to school. So you're home all the time. Now in Kaya, there's nothing to do. You're going to find something to entertain yourself. And the easiest and cheapest way to do that is alcohol. So you end up leaning to alcohol because then your friends will also say, it's any meditating with dry, that's a thing 6-pack. And that's how it starts. Then you become reliant on it. But also because of the way the situation is right now, we're very depressed. There's a lot of depression and anxiety that's happening with a lot of young people right now. So drinking alcohol or maybe taking drugs or smoking weed or whatever is a way to calm that and to maybe just escape from that temporarily.
Okay. What about you, Leroy?
I think that the television that we consume probably has a great effect upon like us, because we used to grow up watching wrestling and then they used to throw alcohol and there's always so much alcohol on the telly. There's always so much alcohol going around and champion men drink champion beer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Such
I think we found it pretty cool when we saw these people going to the clubs.
Yeah.
So you see like a shiny margarita there.
Yeah.
You're having fun. It
Yeah.
makes you loosen up. So
Yeah.
we ended up experimenting.
Exactly.
So that's the other thing I wanted to talk about, experimenting. Sometimes you don't really know what it is until you try it.
Yeah.
So when you transition from being a teenager and then entering young adulthood, you want to experiment, you want to try a few things. Your friends tell you, this looks cool, this looks nice, let's try it. You take a cigarette, you puff, then you cough, like maybe you're even making it up.
Yeah.
Because you've been seeing it, is it?
Yeah.
You want to try different things. So I think also experimenting. And also probably the unknown. I think it's a scary thing when you're a young adult.
Yeah.
You're in a space of not really knowing what the future holds.
You're always curious.
Exactly.
You're always
and you're
curious.
also not dependent on your parents anymore.
Yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
the freedom.
Yeah.
Like you don't know exactly what you want to do, but maybe you do know, and now you're able to do whatever it is that you want to do. So that's another cause. So let's talk about effects then now. Now that I'm hooked onto something, there's a difference between experimenting, trying and doing, and then being addicted to something. So I want us to talk about the addiction, not just the recreational use of it. Let's talk about, now I'm in a space where I am so reliant on this substance, this drink. Let's talk about the effects of that.
Yeah.
Thandi.
It affects your day-to-day life, how you relate to people. We're brought into this world to be relational with people. So it affects our relationships. Look at maybe someone you're dating or you're married or the relationship with your children. So if you're relying so much on alcohol and you're either high or you're drunk every time that you're communicating with people, talking to people, it actually changes how you communicate. It changes how you relate with people. Maybe you become more aggressive or you become more distant and more quiet, meaning that you're not actually connecting with your children and your family. So that, I think, it affects relationships quite a lot.
Yeah, that's true. And also, if like your father abuses, drinks a lot, your father uses drugs, or your mom, that can be very embarrassing for a child growing up. Because if I used to learn at a boarding school, and some of the parents would come to school drunk, and it used to have an effect on some of the pupils, on some of my dorm mates when their daddy came drunk and their daddy was entertaining everybody, telling everybody about their personal lives, their mom, their relatives and stuff, and they're just spilling it and entertaining everyone. That can be very traumatic, probably. It can damage anyone.
Do we think that when a child grows up in a space where they see their parents engaging in these activities, does it influence them to do it also, or it's just an embarrassing thing that I won't do, or does it lead to them also trying to experiment and maybe eventually getting hooked? Because some people have said alcoholism is hereditary. Some people say
they have said. The thing is, when it comes to the environment that you grew up in, it can either go one way or the other. It's either you literally say, I saw my mom and dad do this, I never ever want to make my kids experience the same thing, so you don't. Or you literally copy exactly what they do.
Amen.
Because as a child, you literally pick up what is around you, especially if you're a 3-year-old, 4-year-old. That's when you pick up certain habits. So when you see such things happening, you begin to suck it in, and then you become like that, or you come to hate who they are, that you hate what they do, and everything in life that you do is a choice. So then you choose, I want to be like them or I don't want to be like them.
Yeah. Okay. And I believe the responsibility lies upon everyone. I mean, if we know that so and so is an abuser, and he has a child, the child is like 4, 5, or grade 4, 5, Form 3, Form 4, it is up to us to realize this man doesn't have much to teach the baby, the boy, the girl child. So it is up to us, it is up to the social, our social heroes like Thandi. It is up to the pastors. It is up to them to go and try and raise the child. Have a little more effect upon, have a little more impact upon the child. Visit the child, teach the child how to not turn out too bad and stuff. I'm not, yeah. And even shows like this, if they could get like more viewership, it might just.
You are very right.
I am very right. I'm usually very right.
Shows like this need to get more.
We need more viewers. We need more. We need. Yeah.
So also, I was just thinking on like an effect in society. When you get addicted to something, you need to have it by all means.
Yeah.
Like you just can't not have it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I know we've heard stories of umntanami TV wayithengisa. Use namhla is the TV, sasa is the decoder, tomorrow is
microwave.
Is the microwave. You see, that thing is just, it has you on a chokehold.
Yeah.
Like you can't stop. So imagine the effect on your family, man.
Exactly.
Like your mother, your father, your guardian, you are just always taking something to feed that habit.
Yeah.
Also in society, you're literally a nuisance now.
Literally.
You're just always there.
Exactly. Small little comments.
Awukwanisi ufika emagrosa. As long bewazi ukuthi uyasebenza somewhere. Awufike emagrosa bengaza ngathi ngicela i-R5 she. Ngicela ungishiyele $1. Lili ungayenzi so.
Then you don't even know who to help. But someone is genuinely asking. Then someone who's addicted. So now it's you're scared if I give you, you're feeding into that habit.
Uqinisile bala ama tricks because baba besithi ngicela imali yamaphilisi uyakwazi cheki ngiyagula cheki khangela cheki ukuthi nginjani yeah I don't know uyabungakwazi baba kutshela khona lokho and then lawo suba you know what I mean they touch your empathetic kind of you're a nice guy.
So true.
I think you're right, because I feel like I've fallen for that.
So many times.
Yeah.
Now that you mention
You
it,
will
but
fall.
sometimes you actually think maybe they do need
Maybe
it,
they
you know.
do need to
I
get
do
some
have an
yeah.
extra R5 or something
Yeah.
like that. Let me just, you know, but maybe I'm also helping feed into the addiction. But I think you mentioned something about the sympathy.
Would you-
Yeah,
Would
if
you-
you're just very empathetic, you're always going to fall for it.
Well, let me ask you a question. If a druggie came to you and you know what I mean, you was really on the verge, I'm sure if you're addicted, you may die from like a lack, probably, or you might just need hospitalization or something like that. So if they came to you and they were on the verge and you could tell that, okay, this person is really on the verge, would you spare
So they
your
need a
own?
hit.
Would you give them your own change? Would you give them your own money for
buying drugs.
yeah, for like the provocation?
If I knew that they wanted to buy
No,
drugs,
but they're like on the verge. They're almost at the end.
I don't think I would.
Would you?
Am I withdrawal symptoms, Laura?
I don't think
They
it
put
kills.
you in rehab for a reason, and
Yeah.
you're able to stay away from drugs for 3 weeks. Yes, you go through where you're feeling like you're just about to end everybody's lives right then, because you need that hit.
You need that hit.
But you still survive.
You survive.
You can survive.
I
too.
think
I'm
you
not
can
sure.
you can be killed by what, an overdose.
An
That's
overdose.
what kills, but withdrawal symptoms don't. Withdrawal does not kill.
A withdrawal, guy, it just makes you like mentally. It seems like everything is just
Falling
settled.
apart.
Wrong.
You're itchy. Your body is just not accepting this new norm because
Yeah.
it was a norm for you to
Like,
be high all the time.
I see that a lot on the television.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of that on the television. Those effects, those
Yeah.
symptoms. But so when if they came to you and you know what I mean,
No,
those
that's
symptoms.
it,
Oh.
Let us pray.
I don't think you want that on your conscience. I don't know.
To feed into your habits. Sit down. Let's pray.
Let's sit down and pray.
Last time they go rehab.
Yeah.
I'll pay for your rehab. No problem.
Oh la la.
I'll pay for your rehab.
Yeah.
Rehabilitation work. Are people willing to go to rehab?
Willing?
Yeah. Or someone who's worked with young people.
Yeah.
Do they have that willingness to say, I want to do this? And I'm
They
going
have come
do
to
it.
a point. They must have come to a point to get there. But it's become their normal, right? For Uti, they're high, they're smoking, it's their normal life. So for you to suggest something outside of their norm is very, no, you can't do that. But when there's something that has happened, it triggers them to say, look, I need to stop. There's something that has happened. There's an event that's taken place, usually, from the people that I've mentored. There's something that has happened for them to say, I need to let go of these drugs. Or maybe they almost died. Or maybe they affected someone they love so deeply that they're realizing that, lap, I've got nobody left. It's affected everyone around me. So what am I going to do? I need rehab.
I need
But
rehab.
once you go into rehab, those 3 days, so,
They're the worst.
Yeah.
so then you see them trying to run away, they escape, or they
Yeah.
but
I was going to talk about that actually. Wuti, I used to be under a certain scholarship, and so they encouraged us to do community work. So we raised a bit of money. And then we selected a kid at random on the street. We was just like, let's pick him. You know what I mean? And then we picked him. And then we tried to talk him out of. He's a street kid.
Yeah.
He's eating chips from the stale. They've been there 5 days now. The shops can't sell them to us, so they give it to them. And he's having that, and we're just like, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna give you clothes. We're gonna give you an education. We're gonna put you in a better place. The kid looked at his friends and he was just like, yeah, I need to get out of here. You know what I mean? But maybe the event hadn't occurred because a week later he was missing. The child is missing. Oh my God, what have we done? And then turns out he went back. You know what I mean? He went back to the streets. It was just like, man, we gave you everything. We gave you rules. We gave you a place.
the desire will be there.
Yeah.
You want a different life.
No, but he left. He left because
Resistance young corner is pretty common.
It's very common. It's very, very common. It's just your body is used to something.
Mm-hmm.
So changing what your body is used to. That's why now for rehab, you have no phone, you're literally around people who are doing the same thing as you.
Yeah.
So that you don't run away from what you're trying to save yourself from.
How long have you gone without internet? Have you ever given yourself an internet?
Can I tell you, right?
An internet.
The Wi-Fi hand the other day for 3 days I struggled.
So now we can understand.
Did you pray? Did you pray away the bottom? Did it work?
So anyway, I'm literally just thinking now, Uti, I don't think we mentioned enough causes, guys.
Enough causes.
Because this.
Yeah, there's a lot of causes. There's definitely too many causes out there. If you give me time, I could think about a cause.
Because I think we are at a point in our lives where we want to use anything to escape. So we're now just holding on to anything. So what's the word, Thandi?
Escapism.
Escapism.
We're using as a tool. We just want to melt our way into nothing. We don't want to feel the effects of unemployment.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not being able to get a job.
Not being able to get a job.
You managed to pass school and all that, but
Yeah.
you're unemployed. So we just want to escape. So it's actually a pretty sad thing.
It's really pretty sad. I think she mentioned it. She said that the economy is bad. She mentioned it at the start that the economy is really bad. It's so bad that, you know what I mean, it's actually a lot of us, our ambition is to go out there overseas and wash the bodies of old white people. No, I mean, like, that's just how
feel like
hard
we're
it
now
is.
at the stage where we feel like doing like necessary work
It
is
is-
better than
it is
not
better.
doing anything. Or
I would appreciate the opportunity if somebody came to me and they said, I'll get you a visa, I'll get you something, go to Europe. You'll be doing that social work, taking care of old people, feeding them and stuff. I'll be so glad. I'll be like, I don't care about my engineering degree. I don't care that I went to school. I don't care about anything. That's as high as it gets for most of us. For most of us, that's as good as it gets. And some of my friends have been there and they've got themselves, they're better in society. So it's sort of like we really need probably, that's just a terrible situation that we find ourselves in, and it might lead to alcoholism and stuff.
I feel you. Now we want to move on to another addiction.
Is it?
An addiction that most people don't really feel comfortable talking about. You know, we just like to talk about alcohol, drugs, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we want to talk about pornography.
Ooh.
Addiction. Why did you say that?
Ooh.
We want to talk about pornography, but it's been said that pornography is not an addiction. Because there are opposing views on this topic. If you read enough about it, there are people who defend it with their lives that it's not an addiction. And there are people saying, no, if you need to depend on this to get through your day or to be happier, it's an addiction. Yeah. So what do we say, guys? Is pornography an addiction or it is not? I will start with you, Leroy.
You're going to start with me?
I will start
Okay, you're going to say, if you're going to... Okay.
Is it a natural act? Is it empowering? Like
personally, I'm not very comfortable talking about porn because I've never seen porn. I love you, Mom. I've never seen any porn in my life.
She's not watching.
Yeah,
Can you take two?
She probably is. So I'm gonna quote somebody. Social media.
Okay.
Is my knight, Shaddai. Okay. So he says, I think it was him. He says it's not an addiction. It's just that it's the way we've been made. It's how we've been created. We're a species that's in heat 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week, 365 days of the year. We're in heat. We're not like dogs that go. You know what I mean? And the outlet is not very regular. It's expensive. If there's anything that's expensive, if something is expensive, it's intercourse. You can't get intercourse for like $1 or $2 or $3. you have to get a wife. And she's like 3,000 US. It's expensive. So Shataya probably encourages it. It's not me. Shataya,
It's Shataya.
the night, probably encourages.
Okay, I think I get your point.
You get my point.
So you lean towards watching it then.
I mean, it's not.
Because you feel like it's expensive.
It's not my choice. It's how we were made. It's how we've evolved biologically.
So it's a natural act.
The human body is infused with a great sexual impulse. It's very strong. It's very strong, and Shataya encourages it.
So Nandi, do you take pornography? Do you think pornography addiction can be an addiction, or you agree with Roy?
No, I think pornography can be an addiction, 100%.
Please elaborate.
Like you said, if you have to depend on this to get through your day, it is an addiction. See how often you partake or you watch pornography. It's a daily routine. Now, say, okay, I'm 5 o'clock before I go to work, I need to watch porn. And I need to masturbate. It is an addiction.
It is. I totally agree with you.
It is an addiction because why do you need that to get through your day?
Like you'll be grumpy throughout the day
Yo.
if you have not watched porn.
You're feeding into Auntie when you're watching porn,
Yeah.
you masturbate.
Yeah.
It's all about it's a sexual need, right?
Yeah.
You want to feel pleased in some way.
Yeah.
Sex is a good thing. But it is good in the container that God made it to be in, which is marriage. Like you said, but you said it's expensive.
It's very expensive.
I need 3,000.
And I'm talking like
We know.
a normal, not an educated one. Not a
So
top
the
one.
more educated,
Yo,
the higher
18,000, Shamari. 35,000. My US.
So it's expensive. At least here
It's
you
very
need $1 for
expensive.
data. Is that what you're saying? No, I get.
No, maybe $1 is not enough. Maybe 2.
You were saying, Nandi.
No, but sex is a good thing. The problem is, as worldly people, we've perverted what was meant to be good.
What was holy
Yes.
and nice.
It's a holy act. It's a
Yeah.
good, once done in
Sacred.
the covenant, that container of marriage.
Yeah.
Sex is a good thing.
Yeah.
The problem now is, we're now depending on porn stars and OnlyFans and what. Our eyes are so fixated on sexual beings.
Yo.
People go out not dressed.
Yeah.
So then our minds are always feel like we're feeding. They're always being fed with sexual things.
Sexual images.
You go on the internet, you're seeing naked people. You go on this, you're seeing even adverts now. Advert here perfume. Why is the advert here perfume so sexual?
Music videos.
Exactly, music videos.
Like someone will be saying something that's actually okay, but then they pervert it.
Exactly.
In a way.
Now
It's
even
not
the
like
music that we listen to, this is why I like old school music. The music we listen to now is so sexual. So how do we expect young people not to lean towards porn or wanting to have sex at a young age or whatever outside of marriage? How do we expect them not to do that when our whole world is sexual?
And porn is like a cheap outlet.
Yeah.
Porn is like the Njengo of it's like a cheap thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
So,
okay, so we know that, like what you're saying, Guti, it's cheap. It's easily accessible.
It's accessible.
I think it's very free because I have to read up on these things.
Yeah.
I was reading up on these things and it's like there's so many websites that are free. You just have to log onto your phone, use Wi-Fi, use data or anything like that. But you are directed to those things free of charge.
Free of charge.
They're very free. So when something is free, you easily consume it.
Exactly.
And also, I think at a young age, we've been very exposed to these things at younger ages.
Yeah.
Actually, we were not so aware that there's something like this, and then we've
We're
grown
there.
up in it.
yeah.
Come to think of it, I actually knew of like sex and stuff before I even back to my point that it's probably an instinct that's just natural because I don't recall my dad coming to me and just like, son, sit here. Listen up. Listen up, you know what I mean? Yeah. Never came me that. You will never, but somehow I just knew it. I just knew it was there. And when it came on the telly, I knew what I was watching.
What was going
I
on.
knew what was going on. It was probably like, I don't know where I saw it.
Okay.
Maybe you would watch her. Sorry. Native.
But I kind of get your
You
point.
get what I'm
I
saying?
get your point. No one set you down and said this is a sexual
And
thing.
anyway, it's like society is, she's mentioned it. Society's been, it's leading us that way. Someone's always trying to say, go out there, get some. Go out there, get some. Look at this, it's cheaper. I don't know what it was like in the 1900s. Can you imagine what it was like in the 1900s and you were probably a cotton farmer on a farm? And you
are we
just like
slaves in this
1800s.
scenario?
No, I'm just saying, it's not easily accessible. There's no porn. For you to get like an Asian, and you're black, it's impossible. You would never see an Asian. You couldn't be. Oh, I like Asians.
I want to talk
Oh, I
about
like
how this can
brunettes.
affect our relationships. I mean, we are at ages where we want to get married, we want to have families, I assume.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. So, as a pornography addict, how do you get into a marriage? How do you think it affects
You run.
For example, there are these exaggerated features on women that most people will be watching, you know, and I'll come here and
BDSM.
as skinny as I am. And
BDSM.
I don't know.
You don't know. You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know.
So ridiculous expectations for
Yeah.
one.
That's the thing. It kills relationships and marriages a lot. Because when you've gone and you've watched, let's say you've spent 25 years watching porn, you have an idea of what sex is supposed to be in your head, supposed to be like. And you're seeing maybe on porn, they're moaning, they're making noise, they're doing all of this crazy stuff. And then the wife that you have is not giving you the response that you get on porn.
She
and you're
isn't-
trying to do things to her that you see being done on porn, which she doesn't necessarily like. And then you expect her to be on board with that, and then you get annoyed because she's not on board with that, which kills the sex life in the marriage. And then now you start watching porn again to please yourself in the marriage and not actually.
And forget that those people
Yeah.
are acting.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a natural act that they're
Is
doing.
it?
No.
Not?
They're acting.
they're
I've never seen it. I wouldn't know.
Oh, well, they'll be
Are they?
acting. So,
Really?
what do you think, like, when you get into
No, I
a
think like
relationship
if you're going to get into a relationship, just know who you're going to be with, right? If you're wild and you're into, you've watched 50
Wild
Shades of Grey. It was there in the cinemas, 50 Shades, and you're into that.
Oh, you're trying to tell us you didn't watch it anyway.
I didn't watch it. I can't afford the cinema. I just know it was there. And you're into 50 Shades of Grey. Just settle down with somebody who's into 50 Shades of Grey. Just find that. That's all. It might help. This is a very educative program. And for men out there trying to settle. BDSM guys. Yeah.
But are you telling me Uti uzomthola yena who's exactly as how they portray themselves in the films that they're doing? Now, so and you happen to fall in love with someone who's not into those things, and now you want to fara experiences and she can't do it.
Unrealistic expectation.
Yes, those unrealistic expectations, because those things are exaggerated.
And that's why they start jumping now, because you're not happy with what your woman is giving you. You think it's because of her. So then you start going to the next woman. Then you realize she's also not doing. Then you go to the next woman. So now you've cheated 20,000 times with different women because you're trying to get something that you found on porn.
Yeah.
And how do we know that you will get the satisfaction that you get from watching those things with your marriage? I think it might cause stresses and.
But maybe it's not just porn. Maybe Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's been there, isn't he? We've heard. I mean, like, there's a lot of sex. It's not just porn. It's like there's a lot of sex in a lot of films. So maybe we can't communicate with the porn makers, but we can talk to normal film directors. House of Zwite. What's it called? The other one. Isita the Enemy. Guys, just create realistic sex. Don't exaggerate. Okay, because you're ruining stuff. There's nothing we can do about the porn makers. But probably these are the guys.
I think for
They're
us
sensible enough.
I get you.
Yeah.
Even us women, when we watch romantic
When you're
movies,
watching your
we
romance.
romanticize this
Ooh.
guy.
gesture.
Ooh.
You know, scour the earth for
Yeah.
me, and I'm just there like,
Yeah.
Temba,
then
Temba just wants to love me.
Ugh.
But then mina, I'm so angry at the fact
Exactly.
Yeah.
that he's not doing these things.
We have set
He's not 50
unrealistic
Shades.
expectations
Yeah.
because of the things that we watch.
So just television is so wrong in this society. I really wish, you know what I mean? It's like it's expectations everywhere for men, for women, for everybody. But yeah.
Oh no, you can.
I mean, like, but at least we have shows like this that will educate.
I concur.
Shows like this one. that will,
shows like
shows like this one that will teach you stuff, and we have you. There's just so few of you. I've never met a youth mentor in my life. You're my first
Oh wow.
youth mentor. Yeah, and I believe you're probably. You could really have a great impact upon a lot of my friends, and I wish they would meet you.
The previous girls on my show, they are like the Gen Z, and they were saying they really want to have someone young to talk to. They feel at ease when they talk about things like sex with a younger person. Not like you feel judged by, I want to Angela never
Exactly.
So to Z.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like they want to feel comfortable
Yo.
and they're able to open up.
Yo.
Like,
Yeah.
So I think that's very important. So guys, what are we saying about our addictions, pornography, drugs, and alcohol? What are we supposed to do? What is the way forward? What do we do?
I think what you've done, number one, is talk about it. I think that's the first step. Make
Definitely.
it. And I feel like, especially when it comes to porn, we don't have these conversations enough. We run away. As parents, we need to educate, not even parents, just even churches, talk about sex. Because then we have a realistic idea of what sex actually is. Instead of saying, do not do, can we explain why we shouldn't do to our children? Because children, once you say don't, that's when they do. They do the
Exactly.
opposite.
Like
So,
they wanna try.
exactly. Like, why are you telling me not to? Let me experiment.
It must be nice.
Exactly. It must be nice. But once we give context to the whole idea, because me, I'm starting to understand now as an adult, so it's, oh, that's why they said I shouldn't do it, because I'm seeing the results 10 years later. Sometimes you don't see how it affects you in the moment, but everything we do is a seed that we're planting, and it's going to germinate, whether it's 5, 10, 20 years later. Talk about it, educate, don't be vague when you're talking about it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and our government has really done like a good job, I guess. Our government has done a good job over the years, because I think maybe Zim is like the only country where porn is illegal. It's not, you're not supposed to be in possession of like pornographic material. It's illegal. And was it last year that the president himself, I don't know, I'm not sure, but I think it was the president himself who actually called out drug users and the suppliers, and he said, this is just, we will not tolerate this. This is just, there's a line, and you're not supposed to cross it. And Zim is probably a safe place as far as like drugs is concerned, because they're South Africans. There's a lot of drug use in South Africa. Literally, when you're in South Africa, you can find probably a boy, and it's just like a statue on the road.
Inyaupe. That's what they call it, right?
Inyaupe.
I think so.
You would know.
How would I know?
I mean, like, you're an expert. You have a program on the internet.
I have to say, I don't take Nyaupe, guys.
No, but you're white.
Or any drugs.
You're white, but
You remember those cities?
Yeah.
The Nigerian movie ones.
I don't know.
They used to disguise them like. I remember Emma Cross.
Yeah.
Like outside, I
Yeah.
remember this. Outside Emma Cross.
Yeah.
Babette in Sama City.
Yeah.
And the Nigerian movies were very popular at the time.
Yeah.
And DVD.
Yeah, the DVDs.
So many Nigerian movies that were very popping at the time.
Yeah.
So, innocently,
Tom and
I
Jerry.
purchased one.
Tom
I
and Jerry
purchased
for.
a
Oh my God.
DVD.
Ugh.
I've forgotten the movie. ngiyafaka laphana.
But
Ah.
the people they didn't even.
They did not care.
Hey,
Those
is it?
people want money. I don't know.
they don't
Maybe
want-
they assumed
they
I
want
knew.
money.
Oh, yeah.
I've been sent by my brothers or something.
Yeah.
And what did you do with the DVD? Like,
I don't really remember what
You don't-
happened to the DVD.
you don't know?
But I know how fast I switched that thing off.
is it?
Because I thought it, and I was just so glad there was no one else there. Because
Yeah.
Nampongo Bugela with my sister at that time.
Yeah.
And she was in another room. So Ngafara, Ngwenya.
There used to be that
Naked
thing.
people.
There used to be that thing. You know, remember,
I
like,
think I like
Zesa
sensitivity.
edits troubles later, but like initially, it wasn't really. So you'd pop in your VCR, pop in your tape into the VCR, and it was, you know what I mean? I've heard these stories. It's not me. I've heard these stories. It's not me. And you'd pop in, and then the Zesa will decide, oopsie, I'm out. But your CD is still in there. Oh my God. Your tape is still in there. And you know your mom's back and your dad is back. And they're just like, yeah. Spaghetti. Scoot is nice. something nice. But you know you're in this end. You know what I mean? I'm loving as a story.
Absolutely.
And the tape is just like there's a name. And the name is written in bold.
Yeah,
Yo.
someone was very elaborate in
Yo.
telling you this story.
Yeah, he was a good storyteller. He was very good.
So guys, to wrap up the show,
Yeah.
I want to really appreciate you guys for coming through and helping me have this conversation that I've been wanting to have for a while, because awareness is very important. And I'm just hoping that someone out there is listening and is able to also channel their what do you call it?
Passion, like heat. Passion, enthusiasm.
Yeah, enthusiasm towards helping the youth out there.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm a
that's
writer. My vocabulary
You're
is
making me want to now start talking about your
my
books and stuff.
no, they are terrible flops. Let's not.
Anyway, Thandi, thank you for coming. Thandi, Nandi, I've been saying this the whole episode. Miss Sterling,
Thank you so much for
thank you
having
for
me.
coming through and helping with this conversation. Leroy, thank you.
No, it's
This
good.
one is for
It's
the
good. You're
book.
welcome. You're welcome.
I really enjoyed it. Anyway, thank you
Yeah.
guys for tuning in. And if you have anything that you want us to discuss on the show, and if you have someone that you'd like to see on the show, please leave a comment and we will look into it. So thank you for watching. Bye.
Goodbye.